Lacrima Versio is a beautifully aggressive resonant filter that lands on exactly the kind of grit that I like. It's my favorite Versio, yes, even more than Desmodus, but it's also criminally underrated. If you like filters with a lot of attitude, stick around for this one. Here's what's coming up. What I like about this module, aside from the easy to understand layout, is the saturation. It falls between a basic filter that does its job transparently and something like Noise Engineering's Ruina Versio, which is totally brutal destruction. In small doses, it adds really pleasant saturation to your signal, but Lacrima can also definitely make oscillators scream. So why is it so under the radar? Lacrima was inspired by the legendary Mutron III guitar pedal, which also contains a stave variable filter and an envelope follower. This pedal has appeared on countless recordings and is associated with the wah effect, which is one of the classic sounds of the 70s. I think a lot of producers avoid the autowah effect actually due to this historical association, where it was used with a lot of guitars and a certain type of, let's call it adult entertainment. With that sound and association in our collective brains, it might be hard to see how that could work in an electronic music context. So the goal of this video is to change that perception. By the way, that's my friend Joe demoing the sound, which we'll come back to in our sound examples. I'll leave a link to his socials in the video's description if you want to give him a follow. And while you're at it, hit subscribe on this channel if you haven't already. Let's just talk about the basic controls. So here you have a blend knob, which is basically your dry wet. You have a saturation. You can also have the saturation before, in between the two filters, or after them. You have the multi-mode filter here, low pass, band pass, and high pass. You have the frequency of that filter, the resonance of the filter, and then you have an envelope follower to the filter. You also have audio rate modulation. So let's turn up our sound source. It's going to be the Vic. Let's just get used to this sound for a second. Real simple, right? So let's turn up the blend. Let's just go all the way just so you can hear the full effect. Let's turn up the saturation. Got that nice scream. Let's increase the envelope a little bit. Let's get the audio rate modulation in there. Now it really starts to scream when you get it into bandpass mode. Now you can see I have my Q up pretty high. It's still pretty musical to my ear. Edge it up to more high pass. All right, let's move the saturation to between the two filters and see what that does. Just a toggle. Let's go to after. This is kind of more of a aggressive distortion. Then you have these two choruses. Here's the first one. I don't end up using these too much, but it's nice to have them either way. Here's the second one. Much more obvious. This is the same chorus that you find on a lot of noise engineering modules. I think you're starting to see why I like it so much. It just screams. Now we're just going to pass a simple Sawtooth wave into the Lacrima and see what the effects are. I've got it coming from the Toros Aliyah out of the fundamental out, the fun out. Simple low pass as you would expect. Turn up the resonance a bit more. Let's go somewhere in the middle. Yeah, that's cool. Let's turn up the mod and see what happens. Whoa, crazy. Let's definitely get the frequency of the filter modulating. Let's see what happens. Yeah. Let's go to between the two filters. That's cool. Definitely doesn't sound like an autowah pedal. Let's go after. It's going to be pretty intense, I think. Yeah. I like how it doesn't completely overtake the sound that was there. You definitely still hear the fundamental Sawtooth wave, but it's sort of adding this additional spice layer on top. Super cool. All right, now we're going to return back to our adult entertainment example. I've got the guitar coming from the ES8 being piped in through Ableton into Lacrima. Let's check it out. There's a low-pass filtering already going on, even with the filter completely open. Not sure how far we'll go with the audio rate modulation. Whoa. Crazy. Even with the saturation all the way down, it's nuts. Let's turn that down a little bit. See how far we can go with the saturation. It's getting a bit boxy. Probably there, huh? There's your wah. Let's go after. It's going to be your more intense saturation. Ah, crazy. That audio rate modulation is crazy. Here's an example from my favorite synth, the Trigon 6. I did a whole video on this if you want to check it out. Ooh, love it already. Just turning up the blend. Yeah. we gotta modulate the filter. Love that grit that the mod gives. Woo! Nasty. I mean, that is the sound right there. All right, here we have a drum example. For my beat, the sequence is coming from the Stolper beats, and the kick is the Dasprum, which is going into the polydactyl, which is a combination I use a lot. The kick is going dry into the mixer, but then these other two voices, the Debel and the Incus, are our drum voices, and they're being heavily modulated by the voltage block. Let's play around. Oh, I love that. Super grimy industrial beats, love it. Oh. Let's get carried away. Yeah, so that's a drum example for you. All right, here's riffing off an example in the manual. We're sending two different types of trigger patterns to the Lacrima, coming again from the Stolper beats. And we're going to pass that into Lacrima Versio, Noise Engineering's reverb. Let's play around. Nice. Beautiful lush reverb there. This could be like first few minutes of an ambient set. Again, the kick is passing through dry. Okay, those are the patches. I hope you're starting to see why Lacrima is a bit of a hidden gem within the Versio universe. So swap that firmware and give it a try the next time you're in front of your rack. And consider subscribing to this channel if you want to see more deep dives. See you next time.